It is the combined chapter called as pressure and winds. Okay. Before entering into the subject, what do you mean by pressure? What do you mean by pressure? Don't tell me all these things, force per unit area, not that one. నాన్న ఒక అర్థం కానోనికి చెప్పాలి. అప్పుడు నాకే చదువు రాదనుకోండి. హౌ యు ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు టెల్ వాట్ యు మీన్ బై ప్రెషర్? ప్రెషర్ సార్. See here, for example, every day our parents are used to call us, but don't write in the exam, for this is for our understanding purpose. Whenever our parents are calling to us, what happened? Nana tinnava? Tinnale. Sautrale pettu phone. That is the condition. We are having the low pressure or high pressure? Very, very low pressure. You are scolding your father and mom. Return వాళ్ళు తిడితే మనకు high pressure. పెట్టు మాకు తెలుసులే చదువుతున్నాం కానీ అంటాం. Whenever after cutting the call, if someone is going to call you, if you are not able to get the Tahsildar or MRO or RDO or something, I don't want to go for. Gone case. What happened? What about the pressure level? Increases. Whenever the father is calling to us, whenever we are talking with him, Nana చదువుకో నాన్న బాగుపడతావు నాన్న, అది మాకు తెలుసులే పెట్టు నువ్వు ఫస్ట్ ఫోన్ అంటాం. If someone is calling, after completion of that call, even though the time is night 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, continuously we people are there on the dreams. What is that particular pressure? Very, very low pressure. So the pressure is very common to everyone. The pressure is common. Sometimes you can find the high pressure. Sometimes you can find the low pressure. Yes sir, high pressure, low pressure. Then what do you mean by pressure? How the pressure is insisted on the surface of the earth? Is there any pressure on the surface of the earth? For example, what is the literal meaning of pressure? If someone is applying the force, if someone is applying the force, what we call that one? That is called as pressure. But similarly, on the surface of the earth, someone is exerting the force. Who is that someone is exerting the force? Nothing but air. While we are discussing about the atmosphere, what do you mean by atmosphere? Mixture of gases. Whenever the more gases are there, what type of pressure you can find? High pressure. Nothing but the force exerted on the surface of the earth by the which gases? Atmospheric gases is known as pressure. Okay now, whenever you are seeing the surface of the earth, on the surface of the earth, who is there? All the gases are there. And all the gases are exerting some force on whom? Surface of the earth. The force exerted by surface, nothing but atmospheric gases on the surface of the earth is known as pressure. Intavaraku okay na? Write down. The force exerted by atmospheric gases, the force exerted by atmospheric gases on the surface of the earth, in a given unit area, is known as pressure. The next point, the temperature is measured with one instrument. What is that particular instrument? Thermometer. Similarly, the pressure is measured with one instrument. The name of the instrument is known as barometer. Write down. The pressure on the surface of the earth, is measured by instrument is measured by instrument named as barometer. Full stop. The units of barometer is millibars. Millibars, nothing but MB. Millibars. Okay. See the next condition. Can you able to find the same type of pressure on the surface of the earth? Some places you can find the high pressure. Some places you can find the low pressure. How can you say that whether that particular area is having high pressure? How can you say that this particular area is having low pressure? For example, if I am there here, నా వైపు ఒక ఇద్దరు పిల్లలు ఉంటే చెప్పొచ్చు ఎవరు పెద్దోళ్ళు అంటే ఈయన కన్నా ఆయన పెద్దోడు ఆయన కన్నా ఈయన చిన్నోడు అని చెప్తాం. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద మెజర్? How you are going to measure? See here, from the mean sea level, generally near the mean sea level, the pressure is 1014 MB. What do you mean by MB? Mahesh Babu gaadu malli cheptunna, millibars. Okay, near the mean sea level, what is the pressure? 1014 MB. If there is a increasing of pressure more than 1014 MB, what we call that particular pressure? High pressure. If there is a reducing of less than 1014 MB, that particular pressure is called as low pressure. Intavaraku okay na? Write down. The average pressure conditions on the globe is measured from mean sea level. Full stop. The average units are 1014 MB. 1014 MB. అన్న కొన్ని బుక్స్లో 1013 అని కూడా ఉంటుంది. 1013.6475 అట్లా ఉంటుంది. 75 ఉండడం వల్ల కొన్ని బుక్స్లో ఏం చేస్తారంటే 1014 అని రాస్తారు. ఓకే, రెండు కరెక్టే. 1013 ఉన్నా కరెక్టే, 1014 ఉన్నా కరెక్టే. ఓకే, ద నెక్స్ట్ పాయింట్. If any area is having the pressure, more than 1014 MB, is named as high pressure. And less than 1014 MB, named as low pressure. The next point. The pressure is not uniformly distributed. See the next condition here. See here. What is this particular latitude? 0 degrees. The geographers took the barometer, reaches near to the equator, and started the measuring the pressure. While these people are measuring the pressure, the measure has dips less than 1013 MB. If the pressure is dipping less than 1013 or 1014, what we call that one? Low pressure. Entire this particular equator is having what type of pressure? Low pressure. That's why they named this particular area as equatorial low pressure belt. Don't write anything. I will give you the time. This particular equatorial low pressure belt is there exactly between 10 degree north to 10 degrees south. Okay, after discovering of that particular barometer, the geographers took the barometer and reaches very, very close to the equator. Whenever these people are placed the barometer, immediately whatever the mercury is there in the barometer, it got dips. Whenever it is dipping less than 1014 MB, what we call that one? Low pressure. Since that particular low pressure is there on the equatorial region, these people named this particular belt as a equatorial low pressure belt. Again they started to move towards the northern hemisphere. While these people are moving towards the northern hemisphere, exactly between 25 degrees to 35 degrees, suddenly that particular barometer readings got increases. Whenever it got increases, what is that pressure? High pressure or low pressure? High pressure. ఇందాకే మనం ఏదో ఒకటి మాట్లాడుకున్నాం, మోడర్న్ క్లాసిఫికేషన్, ట్రాపికల్ రీజియన్ అండ్ సబ్ ట్రాపికల్ రీజియన్. వాట్ యూ మీన్ బై సబ్ ట్రాపికల్ రీజియన్? Which is extending from 23.5 to 30 degrees. Since it is there between 25 to 35, these people named this pressure belt as subtropical high pressure belt. Again these people got shocked. At 0 degrees the pressure is dipping. Whenever these people are moving northern hemisphere, while these people reaches to 25 to 35 degrees, suddenly what happened? The barometer readings increases. That's why these people named this pressure belt as subtropical high pressure belt. Then these people got the idea. This particular condition is restricted only to the northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere. That's why these people again traveled from subtropical high pressure belt to and crosses the equator. Exactly whenever they reaches to southern hemisphere on the same latitudes between 25 to 35 degrees, again there is an increasing of pressure. Again these people named this pressure belt as subtropical high pressure belt. So how many subtropical high pressure belts are there? One is there in the northern hemisphere, another one is there in the southern hemisphere. Totally how many pressure belts are there right now? 3. ఇంతవరకు ఊరుకోలేదు మళ్ళీ. Again they started to move the northern hemisphere. Whenever these people reaches exactly between 55 to 65, again there is a dipping of pressure. Whenever there is a dipping of pressure, what we call that pressure? Low pressure. Since it is there in the subpolar region, these people named this one as subpolar low pressure belt. Again these people discovered exactly at 65 degrees to 55 to 65, there is one more pressure belt. Again named this particular pressure belt as, so how many subpolar low pressure belts are there? How many subtropical high pressure belts are there? 2. How many equatorial low pressure belts are there? Total how many pressure belts are there right now? 5. And last గా ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళారు? Whenever they reaches to the polar region, the particular high pressure got drastically increases. It reaches almost all 1050 MB. 1050 is more than 1014 or less than 1014. That's why these people named this pressure belt as polar high pressure belt. Again in the southern hemisphere also, polar high pressure belt. Whenever you are seeing the pressure is some places that's drastically decreasing, at some places drastically increasing. By using of this particular knowledge, we can say that the pressure is uniformly distributed or not uniformly distributed? Not uniformly distributed. So totally how many pressure belts are there? Total 7 pressure belts are there. What is the first one? Equatorial low pressure belt. What is the second one? Subtropical high pressure belt in northern hemisphere. What is the third one? subtropical high pressure belt in southern hemisphere. What is the next pressure belt? Subpolar low pressure belt in northern hemisphere. Again, subpolar low pressure belt in southern hemisphere. What is this one? Polar high pressure belt in northern hemisphere. Again, polar high pressure belt in southern hemisphere. It means that there are totally how many pressure belts are there? 7 pressure belts are there. So whenever we are moving from lower latitudes to upper latitudes, what about the pressure? Sometimes increases, sometimes decreases. అది గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. What about the temperature? Whenever we are moving from lower latitudes to upper latitudes, what about the temperature? Decreases. That is not the same condition associated with pressure. Whenever we are moving from lower latitudes to upper latitudes, sometimes it will be increases, sometimes it will be decreases.